Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to today's blog. I am very, very excited. Today is St. Patty's Day. St. Patty's Day, March 17th, 2021. So let's get started without any further delay. I can't believe how excited I am. This is a very special day for many, many Irish people. The Sullivans and the O'Reillys and the O'Hallorans and the McDonalds and you name it. Oh, well, let's just get into it. St. Patrick died today in 1461. He was 16 years old. He was captured by pirates in his native Britain and taken to Ireland, where he spent 6 years as a slave. He finally escaped, went back to Britain and his family, and then became a priest. And I guess he liked Ireland so much for the 6 years that he was there, he came back and became a bishop and a missionary to Ireland. He was never canonized by the Catholic Church because he was too soon. The church wasn't canonizing people at this time, so he's never been canonized. Around the 5th century is when St. Patrick was around. He was the founder of Christianity in Ireland. That's right. He was the founder of Christianity in Ireland, and he's the patron saint of Ireland. And they used to call him the Apostle of Ireland. So our hats are off to St. Patrick's. Yeah, what a wonderful, wonderful saint. Even though he's not a saint, he's recognized as a saint, even though he wasn't canonized. Something to mention, the Great Famine of Ireland, or the Irish Potato Famine from 1845 to 1852, resulted in a 20 to 25% reduction in the population of Irish people as they left. It was called hard times or the bad life. This word, N-A-N-D-R-O-C-H-S-H-A-O-L, loosely translated as hard times, or literally the bad life. 1 million people died, it was the greatest mass exodus of a single island in the history of the world. It was caused by the potato blight, a disease inside the potato that when eaten caused death. England was no help, and this potato famine actually was the start of the rebellion against England's rule or colonization of Ireland. They were no help in the potato famine. Very famous potato famine, 1845 to 1852. Google it. Today's the day you've got to watch The Quiet Man, starring John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara, 1952. Directed by John Ford. And if you know anything about movies and directors, John Ford was a dynamite director with many, many movies. This particular movie did win an Oscar. It's 2 hours and 9 minutes. I don't know if they've colorized it, but John Wayne is an ex-boxer who goes back to Ireland and to marry his sweetheart. And it is the Irish film. It's like it's like watching the March of Wooden Soldiers is to Thanksgiving. The Quiet Man with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara is to St. Patty's Day. And the movie is one of the 100 best love stories ever told on film. John Ford, 1952, The Quiet Man. Don't miss it. You can find it probably in many, many platforms. In 1800, the Irish stew was founded Irish stew is lamb or mutton. It's sheep that are no longer producing milk, or sheep that are no more use. They use that in the stew. It's root vegetables. The recipe is not constant from time to time. That's the Irish for you. The recipe doesn't have to be the same every time, because maybe every time you're not, you're not in your right mind, perhaps. Most recipes, this much, this much, this much, this much, this much. It's got to contain this. Not the Irish. Recipe is not consistent from time to time or place to place. Every kitchen's different. Everybody's habits are different. But it usually contains potatoes, onions, parsley, and carrots. You cook over an open fire, and that's the very popular Irish stew. You never know what you'll find in an Irish stew. Irish whiskey. Wow. St. Paddy's Day, I'd be negligent not to bring up Irish whiskey. I happen to have some Irish whiskey right here. Jameson. Yeah, a very popular brand throughout the world. Irish whiskey, of course, is made in Ireland. The word whiskey means water of life. At one time, Irish whiskey was the most popular spirit in the world. In 1890s, there were 28 distilleries in Ireland. But by 1966, there were only 2. Since the 1900s, for whatever reason, the industry declined considerably. By 1972, there was only one company that owned both distilleries, Bushmills Distillery and New Middleton Distillery, owned by one company called Irish Distilleries. The alcohol by volume is 40 to 94.8% proof, and proof means the amount of alcohol contained in that beverage. The color is pale gold to dark amber, and today it's completely a different story. Today, and as of 2019, there are 32 Irish distilleries, fastest growing spirit in the world, Jameson and Bushmills. You can't go into a gin mill and not find a Jameson or Bushmills. Triple distilled Irish whiskey, established 1780. 1780. Can you believe it? Smooth Irish whiskey made the John Jameson way since 1780. Irish whiskey, product of Ireland. John Jameson. Wow, that's some history right there. It's a beautiful bottle too. I don't like the alcohol that comes in those plastic containers. It's just not the same. You want to, if you want to throw it after you're done drinking, it's only going to bounce. It's not going to crack and make an impression on your friends, your neighbors, or your family. So Jameson whiskey, way to go, Jameson. Keep up the good work. Irish coffee. We have to talk about Irish coffee. I mean, what presentation, blog, article, periodical, newscast, Sermon on the Mount would be complete without Irish coffee. It's a cocktail. What a shocker. Hot coffee, Irish whiskey, sugar, topped with cream. Heat the coffee, whiskey, and sugar. Do not boil. Pour into glass and top with cream and serve hot. It's 2 parts Irish whiskey, 4 parts hot coffee, 1.5 parts cream, and 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. And of course, you can increase or decrease your amount of whiskey if you want, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. Redhead stepchildren are usually Irish. This is what I thought, but I want to just let you know that that's incorrect. Red hair is a trait throughout the whole world. South Africa, Africa, the Middle East, Egypt, and red hair is not just for Irish. The Irish are not the only ones with red hair. So I want to apologize if I gave anybody the impression in my personal life that red-headed stepchildren are usually Irish. They can be, I've seen them, but it's not a direct characteristic of the Irish. St. Patrick's Day Parade is in New York City is the largest parade, St. Patrick's Parade in the world. It's also the oldest, and it lasts 6 hours. It has 2 million people watching, and 100,000 participates. And there are no floats and no cars. And I think you know why. You don't want anybody driving a float or a car on St. Patty's Day at a St. Patty's Day parade. You'd be doing DWI tests left and right. Tap your nose, tap your nose. What do you mean I need to tap my nose? It's St. Patty's Day. Get your hands off me. You know, it would be a fiasco. So, I think that's the only parade I know of where there are no floats or cars. And everybody's invited to the St. Patty's Day Parade. They have Irish dances, big bagpipe players. All the unions are represented. My brother Bruce used to march with the United, Local 1, the United International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEWEBFE. International Brotherhood, all your Knights of Columbus, the Proud Boys, I think, were represented 1 year before they found out they weren't so proud. And groups of all kind, Kiwanis Club, and you name it, the group is in there. And they've got bands and bagpipes, and it's just wonderful. But everybody's walking. Everybody's walking. Nobody's driving on St. Patty's Day. So I don't know if they're going to have it this year, though, because of the COVID-19. And a lot of people don't know about this 86'em. 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 86'em is a term that people use to throw people out. And I've been to enough bars to know, and I've questioned bartenders about this. And what I came to conclusion is when you 86 somebody, most of the liquor back in the day, in the 1900s or even before, the 1700s, were 100 proof. So if the client or the customer was getting a little bit too drunk at the bar, they'd say 86 them, and then they'd give them the 86 proof. And instead of losing that customer, and if you were drinking with a friend at the bar, they didn't want to throw you out if you were drunk and then lose the paying customer that you were with. So they'd 86 you, and so they'd keep the other client or customer that wasn't quite as inebriated. you know what I'm trying to say. Inebriated. Anyway, so that's what 86 is. So they'll just say 86 and give him the less alcohol, but don't throw him out. We don't want to lose his buddy. So that's where I think 86 came from. And I think that's why bar stools don't have backs too, because they don't want people getting too comfortable. At classy hotels, there's backs, but at regular dive bars, they don't want backs on bar stools. They want people falling off so that they know, that tells the bartender that perhaps they've had enough. So that's what I learned about 86. 86 them! 86 them! 86 them! The Irish dance, step dance it's called. You're probably familiar with this if your cable is not working or something went wrong with your cable or internet supplier, and all you can do is watch PBS. You might have seen some river dance, that Irish dancing. They're dancing like they got hot coals in their butt, in their underwear, and it's very popular. And you really have to have you really got to like Irish dancing to watch Irish dancing. That's for sure. Bagpipes are woodwind instruments using enclosed reeds fed from a constant reservoir of air in the form of a bag. Founded in 1000 BC by the Hittites, Hittites, the Hittites, Hittites, and it provided music for, of course, the Irish dancing. But today they're popular in parades. Unfortunately, they're very popular. You'll hear them at funeral celebrations of life. for Irish men and women who have come to the end of their life. And they're beautiful, it really touches your heart when you hear a bagpipe played correctly. Irish police officer, yes, many police officers were police officers. Many Irish police officers were police officers. Did I say that twice wrong? Anyway, the most famous, I think, is Irish cops. And they didn't take any guff, anything. They didn't think twice about hitting you over the head with that club. Bam! That was the end of it. And I can't remember a more popular, a more great Irish cop than in the movie The Godfather, I think in 1972, the first Godfather, and his name was Sterling Hayden. Remember Sterling Hayden? It's one of the best scenes in The Godfather besides, what's his name, James Caan beating the heck out of the brother-in-law who was beating up on his sister. That was a great scene. But this one is unbelievable. He played Police Captain Mulculsky. McMurphy's another Irish name. McMurphy's. Anyway, Captain Mulculsky's the one they were eating. He said, "I frisk a bunch of punks like this my whole life." And he frisks the guy. And then he goes into the bathroom and he gets the gun. And he comes back, and Michael Corleone shoots him right in the neck, and it's one of the best pieces of dying on screen you'll ever see. It's just like in Training Day, when at the end of Training Day, when Denzel Washington's character gets shot under the overpass near LAX. I mean, talk about acting. Anybody who wants to be an actor or an actress, watch Training Day and the scene when Denzel Washington is being shot under the overpass near LAX in the movie. I mean, it is unbelievable acting, you know. There are no guns. They're all blanks. It's all fake. He hasn't been shot, but for crying out loud, it looks like he's been shot up. It is amazing. And you get the same feeling when you watch Sterling Hayden, Captain Mulculsky, gets shot in the neck. He grabs his neck and he's choking. You know, he's got the food in his mouth and he's got the bullet in his throat and he's choking and and this guy Sterling Hayden, if you watch a lot of old movies, black and white, noir movies or Naha movies, you know, noir, you know what I'm talking about. He's in a lot of them as a young, and he always plays the Irish cop, you know, the Irish cop that take you in the back, they'll slap you around, you know, tell us what we want to know, we'll slap you around, you know. It's not like today where they, you know, put you in a room and give you coffee and ask you if you want a Coke, and maybe you want to brush your hair, and, you know, want to make a phone call. Do you need a more comfortable chair? Oh, back in the day, they'll take you in the back room, smack you. But you've got to watch that scene, especially on St. Patty's Day. Sterling Hayden, Google it, please, Captain Mulculsky. Unbelievable scene. Great actor. Of course, he's not with us anymore. He's up in He's up in St. Patty's heaven. And I had to include Jill Ireland. I don't know if she's Irish or not, but she was a beautiful actress. She was Charles Bronson's second wife. You can see her in the 1972 movie, The Mechanic. You must see this. This is with Vincent Jan Michael. It's called The Mechanic, and it's 1972. There's a lot of content out here. I realize that. There's a lot of brand new content and a lot of shows, but I think a lot of people are missing some of these movies that were made in the 70s, where there was no special effects, there were no computer engineered IA and all this other stuff and green screens. These were movies made, you know, the old-fashioned way, and the acting is unbelievable. You've got to see this movie, The Mechanic. Jill Ireland's resume is deep. She's been in so much, and she was beautiful. And I don't know if she's Irish or not, but her name is Jill Ireland, so I take it maybe she's Irish. I don't know. Maybe somebody could do that. She died at 54 of breast cancer in 1936 to 1990. And she was a tough broad, too. She was pretty good to go out and marry Charles Bronson, because Charles Bronson wanted to, box a couple of, maybe 10 rounds before they went to bed. So she was a tough one. So check out that movie, 1972, a movie, The Mechanic, if you're a Charles Bronson fan, and a Jan Michael Vincent fan, which I am. And I think he is Irish for sure. And Jill Ireland, yeah. And I think that's it. So I'm going to tell one Irish joke. I hope it doesn't offend anybody, or I hope it does. I don't know. It's just a joke. Jokes should not offend, because after all, that's why they call it a joke. Well, here's the joke. What is the single most important invention in mankind? That's right. The single most important invention the world has ever seen, has ever experienced, has ever been. The answer is the wheelbarrow, because it enabled the Irishman to stand up on his hind legs. So I want to wish all of you, all my friends and neighbors, my nephew, Joe O'Halloran, and his wife, Jen, my sister, Teresa, or Terry, whatever she's calling herself today. She's an O'Halloran. She married an Irish guy. Sullivan and Sully, my friend. I've got two Sullys. I got a Sully in California. I know I grew up and went to school with a Sullivan, a Sully on Long Island, Garrity, and O'Reilly, and you just name it. They're all out there, and hopefully they're not all driving today. And I just want to wish everybody a wonderful and happy and celebratory St. Patty's Day. And thanks. And don't forget your Jameson. Coming around, coming around, coming around. Watch your step, watch your step. Oh, get out of my way, get out of my way, get out of my way.